got our own special term for it. We call it a braai, not a barbecue. As the world says barbecue, we in South Africa we say braai. 25 minutes into the grill, you can see everything is still succulent, not dry yet. Done. Ginger powder, it's 1 1/4 tablespoon. And I've got garlic powder, 1 tablespoon per kilo. Because we've got 2 kilo of meat. And we've got a little bit of chilies here, green chilies, fresh green chilies. We've got fresh dhania, coriander, cooking oil here, almost a cup. Yeah, I've got 2 kilo of braai meat here. I've got lamb chops and I've got steak in one pot. And then this is a mixture of green chili and coriander in yogurt. Couple tablespoons of paprika mix. Cherry on the top is actually the lemon, fresh lemon squeezed over. Got a bit of paprika mix left, in which I'm going to put a bit of fenugreek leaves, oil. Whenever you're mixing spice, best thing to do is use oil first instead of using anything water based. So we just mix up the spice mixture into the oil. The spice mixture is being mixed into the oil, and the remaining of the lemon juice goes into the. This is the basting I'm making for when we have to curdle the chops and the steak. First thing you put is your oil. There's some yogurt going into the mixture. Your yogurt is water based, so what it will do to the mixture is fluff it up. This is the basting mixture. In this basting mixture, a bit of everything is there: paprika, ginger, garlic, and so forth. It all depends on your taste buds, whatever you want to mix into the spice mixture. That done. Now we need to
the meat desired to be grilled.
Re-enter into the marinated meat mix. And so when you're grilling, for basting, you've got to have a little bit surface oil, which is going to get spiced up also from the spice, and you can use it to baste your meat. It can't be done haphazardly. It has to be built, same like how you construct a building. You have to construct a fire. The fire is almost ready to be used to cook the meat. In my opinion, a fire which causes a flame upon the drop of oil is not yet ready. It's too hot. See, as you can see, I'm dropping oil. I'm dropping onto the charcoal, and it's catching a light instantly. So the fire is a bit too hot for us to be putting the meal on top. So now I guess that the temperature of the charcoal, you can see there's a small layer of dust that settled on the charcoal, and that now it's a bit not too hot. So I'm going to lay the first T-bone steak. And see, I've got steak and I've got chops. The fire is a bit in 10, so I'm going to start with the steak, the T-bone steak. This is the T-bone steak. I'm loading the third piece of the T-bone onto the braai stand. Also that I used to marinate this pieces of meat. Nice succulent juicy pieces of meat, as they say in South Africa, nyama. And this is not a barbecue in South Africa, this is called a braai. We've got our own special term for it. We call it a braai, not a barbecue, as the world says barbecue. We in South Africa we say braai. It's time to have a braai. Okay, I'm taking the mixture laced with oil. You can see a bit of oil and a bit of the mixture, and I'm going to start pasting that onto the pieces of steak, the T-bone steak, to make sure the places which were left during the marination, maybe 1-2 spots where the spices never reach, I'm going to have to brush it on and brush it in. When you see the basting sauce red, that does not mean it's hot. You get red spices which are very, very mild. I mean, even for the people who cannot eat hot food, paprika is one of them, are very, very mild spices. Chilies, dry red chilies. And we use yogurt to cut the intensity and the sting of the spice down. Even if it's on its mildest, it does have a small sting. And to cut that down, we use mask that we used earlier on. While I was mixing this mixture, I use yogurt in it, and the yogurt's job is to even the sting out. Let's turn and check how far in. Okay, so the secret of having the perfect end product of the braai or barbecue, not to let either of the sides get cooked unevenly, and don't leave to cook more than 6 minutes on the lay of the meat. So as you can see, a bit of it started getting dry here. So my mission will be right to the end, right till this meat gets cooked, is to keep it as moisturized as possible with the basting sauce that I've made. Basting sauce and the oil mixture. So what I'll do is, see, I see it dry, I'm going to start basting this. I'm going to start basting the oil mixture with the spice mix to bring that succulent texture back into the equation. You see everything is nicely moisturized again. Once again, it's just like a freshly laid piece of meat. As you can see, some fenugreek leaves, some rosemary, some coriander is stuck onto the pieces of steak, and what it does is, as it's getting cooked on, it's enriching the steak with its unique flavor. So I'm going to remove this lid, and you're going to see now the reason for me to leave the lid on is to let the smoke enrich and give the pieces of steak smoky flavor as well from the coal burning. So as you can see, there's a whole lot of smoke that has come out, and I'm going to turn these pieces of steak for the second time now only, and you can see how succulent, because I've laid the oil on the top. 20 minutes, 25 minutes into the grill, you can see everything is still succulent, not dry. This is what we are putting now as the lamb chops, the ones we marinated earlier on with the steak. As you can see, I've closely packed all the pieces of tender chops together, lamb chops, and the marination we use as least spices as possible and more herbs. So what I'm doing now is trying to get the fire a little bit, because it's, as you can see, it's not fresh. I've already bred the steak on the same fire, but there's plenty of charcoal. I'm just giving it another boost. You can say nitrous in terms of carbs, if you want to say. The cooking procedure. I think we are about 5 minutes into the laying of the chops onto the grilla. And a few that have changed color. A few chops, and I'm gonna give them a small basting. Try as much as possible that your bastings must be fresh. Do not use bottled bastings. Get recipes that are more convenient to your taste buds and make your own fresh bastings and marinades. Do not buy. Look at the beautiful texture of each piece of chop. You can see it's crispy yet it's succulent and juicy, and it's close to done. I'll leave it another 4 to 5 minutes covered so it smokes up also. So it'll give it a smoky woody taste.